Welcome to Failure is Progress, presented by Sweat Factory CrossFit. I am Coach Frankie Ortega.
And I am Coach Keith Barber. Join us today as we discuss everything going on inside the CrossFit space and, more importantly, what new and exciting things are happening in our Sweat Factory CrossFit gyms.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate the support and truly enjoy the feedback we've been receiving from all of you.
Please reach out through our DMs on Instagram. If you aren't already following us, please do so at Failure is Progress, all lowercase. And now, on to today's episode.
All right. We are back. Episode 22. Keith Barber, level 3 certified. Man, I'm so jealous that you're certified. I am jealous that you're certified. A lot of people don't know that level 1, level 2 are not certified coaches. Level 3 and level 4 are certified coaches. So I'm working on my own.
Certified trainer, and then certified coach is level 4. But
no, I think I just have a certificate. I'm not a certified trainer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So level 3 is certified trainer, and then level 4 is certified coach. But yeah, level 1 and level 2 have a certificate, like a level 1 certificate, and then you are certified at level 3. But I mean, honestly, I've seen level 1 coaches that coach better than some level 3s. I've seen some level 3s that are the best coaches in the world. You know,
hold on. You've seen level 1s that coach better. That kind of like,
oh yeah,
that blows me away. I could understand coaching better than level 2, but there's a lot more that goes into being a level 3.
Yeah, there is a wide range of knowledge that you're going to need to be able to pass the level 3 exam. And there are some coaches out there that are like me. You know, they're just ready to soak up all the knowledge, but they haven't taken the next steps, or they have been like shunned away from taking the next steps. Like I had a good friend and mentor of mine tell me that I didn't need my level 2. He was like, "Why would you take that? You don't need that." And it wasn't until I took the level 2 that I didn't realize how much I needed it. But it could be a situation like that, where they just have their level 1 and they're just like growing their knowledge and they're studying the manual, and they just like, they know CrossFit better than anybody around them. They just haven't taken the steps to take the next certification.
That's interesting, man. That's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't mean to get off topic there, but
no.
Yeah. So starting over, back with Keith Barber, level 3 certified trainer, and I'm Frankie Ortega. Welcome, guys, to
the
episode.
Frankie Ortega, the GM.
It's just Frankie. It's
Papi
just
Chulo. You can't gas me up and then I not gas you up. Come on,
man. All right,
Silver Fox.
So Silver Fox. I got a little bit to go. I got to get a little more gray there. All right. What are we talking about today, man? I think I've had this kind of in the back of my mind, right? We've talked about training in different aspects, and we've also had a good conversation on mindset. But I think that something that we haven't specifically tackled is the specific mindset you need when you're a scaled athlete or when you're scaling, right? There's a lot of people, and I would say most of our athletes come to the gym and they kind of feel like they have a chip on their shoulder. They feel like, well, you know, I gotta see the person to my left and right. I want to be able to hang with them, right? They've got 210s on their bar. I got to put 210s on my bar. They've got 245s on their bar. I got to put 245s on my bar, right? And I clearly remember one of the things that Jen first told me when I started CrossFit was, if you can check your ego at the door, you will always be, you know, in the right headspace to progress and to get better and to be the best version of yourself. And I took that to heart because I'm someone who has very little ego. And, you know, to a certain regard, it almost kind of hurts me, right? There's times when maybe I could go heavier and I choose to go lighter because I want to take care of myself. I want to make sure that I'm, you know, working out for longevity versus trying to work out to keep up with someone else. You know, for me, it's 100% always been me versus me, except for when I was training to do that competition with you and Jake.
Yeah.
That was a little different. But Let's talk a little bit about that. In your opinion, what kind of advice would you give an athlete who knows they should be scaling but struggles to accept it and just take some weight off the bar?
Um, so in the moment, like if I'm in a class coaching and I see somebody putting weight on that they probably shouldn't be using, I mean, we have not a whole lot of time, especially if they're in the middle of the Metcon. So I'd probably be something quick like, hey, we're going to take this down a little bit so you can sustain your effort. Boom, we take the weight off. But if it's a conversation that we're having before class, and they're like, hey, coach, what weight should I use? I would probably answer their question with a question. Even knowing how annoying that is, I would still do it.
Little Jeopardy.
Yeah. I would probably ask them, what is the most effective way for you to get better? I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the competition of CrossFit and we forget that for you to get better at competing, you need to train something, you need to practice something, you need to challenge yourselves in different ways that aren't competitively driven for you to get better. It's kind of that concept of taking one step back so you can take 5 steps forwards. So that's kind of the road that I would take, is like, hey, like which weight is actually going to challenge you to whereas you're hitting the stimulus. And if they're like, well, I don't really know what any of those words mean, then I'd be like, okay, put it to you like this. Today's workout, the goal is for you to get 7 rounds. What weight do you think you can get 7 rounds in this workout with? And if they're like, well, 115 seems like it's going to be a little bit too light. I might get 9 rounds. I might get 10 rounds. Okay. How about 135? Well, that's going to be way too heavy. That I might get 4, maybe 5. Okay. There's a lot of numbers in between 115 and 135. We can go 120. We can go 125. We can go 130. We can figure out where you need to be for today to make sure you're hitting that stimulus and actually getting better so that you can compete at a higher level tomorrow. Not literally tomorrow, but.
So I appreciate that answer. Maybe I didn't propose the question properly, but I'll give you an example. I'll have an athlete come into class and add weight on the bar that they shouldn't be using. And I will propose to them, hey, listen, I suggest you take that weight off. Let's work on your technique. Once I can make sure that you're properly doing the technique, then we'll think about adding some weight. And their response is, no, I can lift this weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, I'm not saying you can't lift it. I'm saying you shouldn't. My preference as your coach and what I suggest you do is remove the weight and work on your technique. And their response is, but I can lift this weight, right? So my original question was, and maybe I should rephrase it to the coach's mindset versus the athlete's mindset. How do we explain to someone how important it is for them to be okay with not seeing big hoops on the ends of their barbell
Mm-hmm.
in order to learn something the proper way, right?
Yeah.
Because they may be new or maybe even 3 or 4 months in and they're like, oh yeah, I can do this, right? I'll give you another example. I had an athlete the other day who I think she's killing it. She's doing great. I'm not going to say her name. She knows who she is. But she came up to me. She's like, check it out. I did a black level today. I did black in today's workout. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm super proud of you. Did you get better? Did you get stronger? Did you get fitter? What was the purpose aside from trying to build yourself up, right? Because maybe you sacrificed some technique. Maybe you sacrificed some health because you did something that could have hurt you, you know? So, like, I don't know if it's an athlete thing or a coach's thing that we should talk about, right? But how do we break through to the mindset side of that where, hey, listen, it's okay. You don't have to do a black level workout to consider yourself good enough. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing to consider yourself good enough. It is you versus you. How do we break that to somebody without them like going against us?
Yeah. There's a ton of context with that. But I think the overarching theme there would be one, we have to make sure that our athletes know that your value in this workout isn't coming from what level you're doing or how much weight is on the bar or whoever's next to you. Yes, we are putting you in a competitive environment, but just because you feel like you can't stack up to the rest of the field of competitors does not make you less than the rest of the field. We're all the same at the end of the day. Weights are weights. We're all getting stronger. We're all getting fitter. And different coaches do that in different ways, right? Like, excuse me. Um, you and Jen are really good at tapping into that personal side of people, making them feel the quote unquote little wins.
Yeah.
You make them feel so much bigger than they actually are, and you really express that to people. You know what I mean? Like when you see somebody, like you just said, crushing it, like you let them know that they're crushing it, regardless of how they felt about it in the moment. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
those smaller things that most people would be like, oh, that was kind of cool. You make them feel like that was the best thing anybody's ever done, you know? So just helping them realize that the fact that I got better today is what we're going for, not the weight on the bar, not the finishing time, not the person next to me that had those big round plates on. It was the fact that I showed up, I did my best, I got the results.
Yeah, and I think what you just said is like the key there, right? The fact that I got better today. Like if we go in, that's the question we should be able to answer. Did I get better today? You know, I've had numerous athletes in my gym where I tell them, listen, if you cannot squat past parallel, if you can't get your hips below your knees, there's no reason for you to have weight on a barbell. I would rather you work on getting that elasticity back in your muscles and getting that full depth of squat before you start adding weight. And sometimes they'll just keep the weight on the bar and not listen. That's them,
Right.
right? But I've had a few people who took me up on that and decided to work on getting lower. And all of a sudden, they're like, man, nobody's ever explained it to me that. Like, I actually feel all the way at the bottom different than when I normally squat. So yeah, because you're missing out on whatever 10, 12, 15 inches of travel, and it makes sense why a lot of people can't full depth squat, right? We only sit to a chair or we only sit to a couch or we only sit in our car. So our legs aren't accustomed to getting to that depth anymore, right? But using Jessica, my wife, as an example, right? She couldn't do a full depth squat when she first came in. And now she can squat lower than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell happened? Right. And it was just practice. And she said, what do I do? And I said, just come in before every class, hold on to the rig and walk yourself down the rig until you get as low as you can. And if you just do that for, 10 reps, 3 times before every single class, and she comes in, probably doesn't anymore, but she did when she first started, she would come into every class and take that serious because for her, she knew that she wanted to get to full depth. She didn't want to be in pain from trying to get into that full depth. So now she's got a full depth squat.
Yeah.
She's got a great front squat. She didn't have that before. She can get wall balls now because of that full depth squat. She has that much more vertical. I was gonna say thrust, but yeah, she has that much more vertical velocity to shoot the ball up to the target. So it's like, these things are important, and for a lot of us, we have a hard time getting out of our own way, so to speak. And it's okay. Like, I don't want anyone to feel inferior. I don't want anyone at any of our gyms to feel inferior. We're not trying to strip you of any of your gains that you've got or anything, but even some of the athletes, I would say especially some of the athletes who do black level workouts on a daily basis. I'll tell them specifically like on Wednesday, hey guys, if it's been rough the first couple of days of the week, today's not a bad day to drop it down, a little bit and just take care of yourself. Make it to Friday without any pain,
Yeah.
And you'll see them walk into the gym, and you're like, what's going on, man? Having a great week, just in pain. Okay, cool. You're gonna go black again today, right? Yep, 100%. So it's like trying to get people to understand or to buy into that idea that it's okay to scale it, take care of yourself. Because you've coached me enough where I don't mind scaling at all. I'll do a blue level, I'll do a purple level, and the next day I'll do an orange level. It doesn't matter to me, as long as I'm taking care of myself. I have to take care of my gym. I have to do my other job. I have to take care of my children. I have to do homework. If I can't do homework with my child because I'm in so much pain, it doesn't really help out. So those things are important, man.
I think it goes back to your favorite word, the intention, right? Like, I think when we sign up for a gym membership, any gym membership, not just at CrossFit, we have that dedicated intention when we first sign up. But once we get into the routine, you kind of lose focus on what that original intention was. And I think as coaches, we probably should be reminding our athletes a little bit more about what that original intention was. And that would help them be more comfortable with scaling. I think the psychological, psychologically, the psychology of scaling is just a distraction from what your original focus was. Like, if you signed up for CrossFit because you just wanted to get fit, or in Jessica's case, you wanted to restore some function, and then you get to a point where you hit that goal, you restored your function. She has her full depth squat now. Reassess those goals. You know what I mean? Get something else to focus on, because if you just are just like, okay, I hit my goals, I don't want to stop because I know that this is healthy for me, this is good for me, and I enjoy it, then I'm just going to keep doing it. But then you come in and you're just like, well, I guess I'm just going to do what everybody else does. So if everybody else is doing black, then I guess I have to do black.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a really good point too, right? We have a specific programming, level method programming, which does a really good job of providing those scales for us. And it's really a tool more than anything else. I actually really like it because of the variety of options it gives our athletes. And we can have 3 athletes in a class, or we could have 20. If they've all been through our foundations, or they've all been with us for 5-6 months, they understand where they're at. Not only can they see what their scaling options are, but they can make informed decisions, right? If you go into a CrossFit gym that follows, let's say, CAP, which is CrossFit's affiliate programming, I may be wrong about this, but I believe they only show you the RX version of the workout.
Well, they do have 2 other levels there, but we have 7. So there's also that,
Yeah. So it's like, let's just use a 135 as an example, 135 and 115 for the ladies. Is that the normal?
Or 135, 95.
95, right? So let's just say we're doing a workout and it's 135, 95 power cleans. You may come in and have an option of 115 if you're going down to brown. You may have, let's say, 95 for the men if you're going to purple, and then 75 if you're going to orange, right? That's 4 different scales that you have. Pick the smart one. If you know that you can't do, I'll use Grace for an example. I think it's 30, right?
Yep.
So if you can't do 135 pounds for 30 in a reasonable, I'm not going to say any, but most of the guys at our gyms could probably do that within 15 minutes. But now you're talking about trying to do it in sub 6 minutes, right? Be smart about it. Don't go as hard as you possibly can, because you still have Wednesday and Thursday and Friday,
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's a lot about ego. It's a lot about mindset and looking at yourself in the mirror and being proud of what you're doing. Right. I'm never gonna come into the gym and I'll use Adam as an example from our 4 p.m. over at Afterburn. Adam's an incredible athlete. He is so humble, and I'll look at him sometimes and be like, Adam, today might be one of those days where you want to rethink it. And I can see him kind of scratch his head. And what he started to do, which I'm proud of him for, he'll like build the weight versus just going with like 135, for example, instead of just going with a couple 45s. He might throw a couple 25s and some 10s on there to build it so that if halfway through the workout it gets a little tough, he can just kind of knocks them off. But you don't have to go red line every single day.
No.
Yesterday's workout, which was kettlebell grace.
Yeah.
I did it with the 53-pound kettlebell. I didn't do doubles. And today I'm probably going to do like a yellow level workout because even though it was a very short workout, it was taxing, for me personally, it doesn't, the risk reward factor isn't there for me to just go and demolish myself in today's workout, so yeah.
There's no way I was doing 60 reps. So I went with 2 kettlebells at 53 because 30 reps sounds way better than 60.
Oh, that's actually, I didn't realize it was 30 reps.
Yeah. So if you did the 2 kettlebells, it was half of the amount of reps.
Oh, that's pretty smart. I did 50 reps and I did 15, 15, 10, 10. I felt like that was a good strategy. But funny thing is, I've been wanting to do grace for a while.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to actually do grace. Now I got a taste for it.
Yeah.
But now I want to do it with a barbell and see where I actually like that workout. I think of all the girl workouts or all the ladies workouts, that's my favorite one. It just seems so straightforward.
The one you've never done is your favorite one?
Well, looking at it on paper, there's so many of them, right?
Yeah.
Fran is one of those that I never want to do because of my lack of front rack mobility, right?
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't mind doing 2150. That's actually really fast. Get it over with, right?
Yeah, but it hurts so much.
But I mean, what's the other one with is it Annie with the handstand push-ups? Diane, yeah. I don't want to do that one. I can't get through that one. That's a tough one.
I'd rather do that than... Well, yeah. So...
What is it, 2159?
2159 handstand push-ups and deadlifts, or deadlifts and handstand push-ups. Yeah, I think the deadlifts are first. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I love deadlifts, but man, 21 handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll scale the hell out of that one any day.
Yeah, those are kind of my jam.
Yeah, man. So let's switch topics to something else. Let's talk about when you should scale up, right?
That's actually what I was going to ask you when you were talking about ego, because I think a lot of people hear that leave your ego at the door, and they only think about ego as in like doing too much or going too heavy. They never think about it in the opposite way, where you're like actually belittling yourself with your ego, like saying that, oh, I can't do that because so-and-so has that on their bar, so there's no way that I could do it.
And I think that defeats a lot of our athletes as well. That's a situation where it's less about ego and I guess more about fear, right? Or is it maybe a lack of confidence?
Yeah, so I definitely think it's a lack of confidence for sure, but I think your ego is definitely feeding into that. Excuse me. Because ego isn't a one side scale.
Right.
It goes up and it also goes down just as far as it can go up. So ego can make you arrogant, or it can drive a ton of self-doubt as well. And I think that's the part that people miss, is that that's still your ego talking. That when your coach says, hey, I think we can throw a little bit more weight on that bar, and you're like, I don't know, so-and-so over there doesn't have that weight on their bar. And it's just like, well, I think that's just your ego telling you that you're not good enough,
Yeah. And you are good enough. Damn it.
Damn it.
I actually have an athlete who surprises me every day. It's almost like I can't pinpoint what's going on. He's got the least amount of arrogance that I've seen in an athlete. He's so humble, but he's so strong. He regularly has to scale past black. At one point, he asked me if we could put the red level workouts on the on the level method board, and I was like, "Does he really think he's that strong?" And then I watched him work out a couple times, and I'm like, "Damn, he
really is that strong."
That strong." And then I'm like, "Dude, I can't wait for you to sign up for the CrossFit Games." And he's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "Wait a second, you're this strong, you have this much in the tank, and you don't want to?" He's like, "I don't care. I just like doing this for fun." It's like, oh my God, how many people are out there like that, right? That can go that hard, that long, every single day, because he doesn't miss a day. Sometimes he does 2 a days, and he just doesn't want to compete. For him, this has nothing to do with competition, has nothing to do with bragging, right? Like he's just in it for fun. It's like, man, and again, like Coach Lewis, who coaches him a lot over at Afterburn, does a really good job of scaling everything up for him. You know, if there's a chest to bar pull-ups in the workout in the black level, he might make him do bar muscle ups, as opposed to he might drop the reps a few and say, "You do bar muscle ups today," and he gets through it, and he usually finishes before everybody. It's impressive. It's impressive. But going back to the mindset part of it, it's like, wow, he's so humble yet so strong. He is scaling appropriately, you know, and clearly he takes care of himself. He's got the right attitude. And in that case, putting more weight on the bar is the appropriate thing to do. I haven't experienced another athlete like that. It's a rare case. But yeah, man. All right. Any announcements we got going on this week?
Do we have anything coming up?
Man, I mean, just this little thing called the Open, which we've talked about for a few weeks.
Oh, true.
We have announced captains at each of the gyms, and towards the end of this week, we should have all of the teams selected. That's going to be exciting. I think our LRX orders have come in, which is also pretty dope. I think I'm going to wear mine today, because they're just too fire.
They are
too
nice.
fire. Those Miami colors got me.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to get some of those, I think we ordered a few extras, so get them while they last. What else we got going on? We do have Festivus coming up in April. This one I think is for singles, so that's going to be exciting over at the Claremont location. If you haven't looked into that, I think the WODs are already released and everything, so you can take a look at what kind of torture you're in for. I mean, fun.
You don't have to be single, but we do have individuals as well as teams of 3, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be single. You can.
No, you don't have to be single. But if you are, definitely, get a T-shirt with your number on it to let everybody know that they can hit you up. Let us know what your profile is. We can stalk you on Instagram. This is getting weird. It's getting weird.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit that part out. I think I'm going to leave that one in.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other announcements. Festivus in April. Open shirts are in, so get them while they are hot. I mean, you already paid for them, so you might as well pick them up.
Yeah, I think that's it, man.
I wanted to thank everybody that came to the gymnastics clinic last weekend. That was so much fun. You guys really showed up. I was not expecting that many people. So thank you guys for all the love and support. I really appreciate that. If you guys have questions about gymnastics or any movements, really, you guys can always send them to us. Instagram handle is Failure is Progress, all lowercase. So definitely hit up the DMs. Let us know what's going on.
Love it, brother. I love it. All right. That does it for this episode 22.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you guys in the next one.
Take care.